J.O. on the beat. James.
I'm Marcellus.
And Issa Kickback. On this episode, we welcome our guest, Conrad Pax, out of New York City. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's up?
Hey.
So what's been going on with you lately? How you feeling, man?
I feel pretty good. I've just been working, running, making music, trying to enjoy myself.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm glad to have you on today. And, oh, dude, I can tell you've been running your ass off. You post this stuff on Instagram. I'm like, damn. Back in my day, I could do
I think you love that. I'm not even gonna cry.
Alright, so Conrad Pax is a recording artist. He's fresh to the scene. He just rebranded. I also actually manage him as well, kind of. It's more of a partnership. Yeah, and so he's with us today. He has a new album dropping on February 2nd called Headspace, and that's kind of what we want to talk to you about today. So if you, first, we have to set the vibe.
Yeah. We did do it last week.
Yeah, we did do it last week. We kept forgetting. Alright, so our Set the Vibe segment comes from our brand ambassador, ItsTheWhittleThings. She's on Facebook, Instagram. She uses Snapchat, but I don't know if she wants that out there. But her Instagram is popping. She posts positive quotes. You know, she has reviews on marijuana strains, and she's very open and stuff like that. And the quote I'm gonna go with today to kind of set the vibe for this is: "Today is a new day. Take it one moment at a time. You are worth more than your past, and there's so much more waiting for you in the future. Forgive yourself for yesterday, and lean into gratitude for a wiser today." Yeah, it was a mouthful, but
that's a bar.
Yeah, there's a lot there, but I think it sets in today because you know, we with music you have to take it a day at a time. You know, it's not gonna come overnight. So there's success in the music industry. So that was Set the Vibe again.
It takes 10 years to be an overnight success with us.
Yeah, word to Big Sean, the Don. But yeah, I'm thankful you could join us tonight, since this is pre-recorded. Again, shout out to our partner, ItsTheWhittleThings. She's one of our brand ambassadors, and she's super dope. If you've been to one of our events, you've met her. Whitney's a great person. But anyway, let's get into why you're on the show today. So like I said before, you are dropping an album February 2nd called Headspace. So I'll just start it off with some questions. You know, you're from Quincy, or actually you're from smaller town over, but
where are you from originally?
Carthage, Illinois.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Way smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, what made you decide fuck it, I have to chase my dreams. I have to go for it, you know? And what's kind of your backstory? Like what got you to this point?
Well, I guess like being in a small town, I feel like I was around a lot of people that had dreams, and some did chase, but a lot of people didn't. A lot of people just kind of gave in and it's on a career or something to make money, whether they had families. And I mean, there's a lot of decision making that goes in that, but you know, you see someone talk about what they once dreamed about, and I just never really wanted that for myself. I always wanted to go for it. I definitely wouldn't be able to live with myself if I knew I had a chance to go for it and I never took it. And I just sat, and on my mind, I knew one day I should have taken that chance, but I never went for it. I never tried for what could have been.
That haunts people. I know old elders that it kind of haunts them. You know, they kind of instilled in me you know, you're young, you got to go for it. And you know, to me, it's what the hell you talking about? I don't know how you'd even start, but you know, you just got to start. So I give you a round of applause for that, because you're right. Not a lot of people from this area even start.
Yeah, you got a lot of balls to do that too. Pause, but takes a lot of courage to do that for real.
Yeah. Just a little backstory. You did start music. Kind of came to you like when you were younger, right? You played instruments and stuff. What all instruments did you play?
So I I started out playing piano when I was like 5, and I had like a short attention span, so I didn't really like stick with that very well. But I could memorize stuff like it just over time. Like I always had like toy guitars and like drum sets, and I'd like put on CDs on like a 5 disc like changer and just like jam along to these like random like rock songs or like country songs, or like I threw in like Nelly tapes and like 50 Cent CDs and would just play beats to them.
All right.
And then I always knew like when I was in like 3rd grade, I would watch like my parents like force my brother to play saxophone, and he had to like do like a year of band. And so I was at like the concert band, like showings and concerts, and I would look at all the instruments and I'd be like, I want to play drums, because drums, you like keep the beat, you're kind of in control, but also like you don't have to like waste your air blowing into something. Like I was worried I was gonna like freak out, hyperventilate. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
I played the trumpet, so that didn't last too long.
Like really intense with it.
Yeah.
And just after that, like it was kind of like a muse to like just sit down in the basement. I found a snare drum and I started playing along to like songs. And then eventually I bought my first drum set. I used to just beat the fuck out of that drum set for like hours.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
It was like I was really inspired by Travis Barker for a while.
Yeah.
I really liked a lot of it. Like he just versatile, man. Like he does like everything.
That he does.
Like literally.
That he does.
I just wanted that. Like I don't know. I just kept going. I kept building on guitar. I started learning how to sing. I was pushed into choir by Kathy Dooley when I was like 15, because I showed like little interest in like junior high.
Yeah.
She's a teacher, right?
Yeah, she actually was just recognized by that one show a year or 2 ago. They came to town. It was a big thing.
Yeah, the makeover.
Queer Eye,
yeah. Queer Eye. Yeah.
Hey, she was nice to me for my little stint at QHS. So
I don't know that lady.
what made you want to like become an artist? Like, kind of where did you start? Then what led to Conrad Pax from Quincy, Illinois?
Well, I got into like musical theater when I was in high school due to being pushed into the choir room, kind of like meeting people. They always needed some dude with like a deep voice to sing like bass parts. So a lot of musical theater songs like have that kind of like build to it, and I got really entranced by that and just like other music I was listening to. And then I found this like new school in New York City, and I sent in an audition. They were like, "You should come. Like, we can figure stuff out." And when I just like heard that opportunity and just thought about like living in the city, like I always wanted to when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I just imagined it. Like I just felt like I wanted to be where other people are.
Yeah.
Little Mermaid reference. But
no, I caught it.
But after that, like I got to theater school, and the more like watching people go through like rejection and like auditions and like trying to keep like some sort of like head about them to continue on, I kind of didn't want to like go through that, honestly. I more or less felt like I could play by my own rules and get where I wanted to go, and it started getting to a point where it was like I didn't really want to create someone else's show. I wanted to start making my own thing.
Damn. That's real. I fuck
like,
with that.
That's a bar.
Yeah. Nah, sorry for cutting you off. That I fuck with that.
No, it's just like it takes steps. Like at first, I used to think like, oh, like I could do this, but like I don't know if I have enough skills. I don't think I know enough. Like you're kind of like bad on yourself. So then I was like, all right, well I can do other people's stuff like well, like I can like play a role well. I can do that. And then, as it continues on, it's like, well, like I can like kind of like singing, like I can write like raps, and I think I could do something like really funny. So that led me to being Chef Boyardee.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like I was writing like goofy shit or shit I thought was like funny.
Yeah. You were having fun with it.
And it was it was fun. Like it was just a lot of fun. The first time I jumped on stage, I had like a really good reaction at it was like the Coast to Coast showcase or whatever. I really didn't expect much. I always like kind of just like expect nothing, but like when something great happens, great. If I get booed off, then it's just kind of like whatever. But it was a really good reaction. Like a lot of people were like fucking with just the energy I was bringing. Really, like there were people that had, I feel like really good songs, but there was something to be said about like stage presence and connecting to the audience, or saying something that like a little more real.
Is that about his delivery?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a show.
Yeah, you're there for your showmanship.
Exactly.
I feel that. So, so you bring up Chef. So you did Coast to Coast as Chef Boyardee. So what made you go from Chef to Conrad Pax? Like, what was the rebrand? What was the moment it was like, I can really do this, but I don't know if that name will get me where I want to go.
Well, I kind of felt like I had more to say than like jokes. Or like punchlines. I felt more like almost like Chef was cool, but a lot of people too like thought of it as a joke in a way because it was like humorous.
Yeah.
And I felt if I wrote like serious songs or like started to like, you know, kind of like bare my soul on a track or like talk about like more serious things, the name Chef Boyardee really doesn't like give that off, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like thinking in my head, I was like, well, what could it be? Like I don't want to go by my own name, like Nick Boyer. Like okay, yeah, that's me, but I feel like I should be able to be me to some extent. Like
you want to be able to turn off Conrad Pax and go back to Nick Boyer. Yeah. No, I get that. I get that.
And so I was sitting in bed one morning with my girlfriend, and we were like watching once some like fairy tale show, and we were like brainstorming names, and she was just like, I feel like you could be like a Conrad, like you could just be Conrad. And I was like, yeah, for some reason that like really sticks. I don't know why. And then I just kept thinking like Pax, like with an X. It just sounded, I don't know, like the two together just like worked. And I mean, shout out to Morgan because it was all her idea. But,
Props to Morgan.
Oh, see, told you he was gonna fall.
Well, you know, it just worked. Like as soon as I saw it, the first thing I thought too, which is like kind of funny, I was just like, see Pax with the stats spitting on tracks. Like I don't know, like it just kind of like takes out in my head. Like
no, that's dope.
Yeah. So as a question for you and James, how did the partnership happen as far as James managing you to be a Conrad Pax now?
You want to take it or you want me to take it?
You can start. You can go ahead.
Okay. So I've never actually met Nick in person.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So with that said, my brother KJ was like, "Hey, this guy makes music. He wants you to check him out." And he sent it to me, and I was like, I gave KJ the feedback, and he's like, "I don't know why you're telling me." And I was like, okay. And so after you emailed me, I emailed back with all that, like, the criticism, and I was like, I hope, I always leave it with, like, I hope you don't take it the wrong way, stuff like that. And he was like, so accepting of that, like, it didn't, like, he didn't get upset like most people do, like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about kind of thing. He took it all in, what I said, and then he came back with new music, and I was like, blown away from the growth. Like, the first track you sent me is on my SoundCloud. I'll never delete it. But I might make it go private. I might put it on private just so when we're in those fucking meetings and shit like that, and I'll be like, man, I'm just gonna play it. Be like, remember when you sent me this? Like, it's like, now we're doing this. Like, this is so crazy. So
yeah, it's all gonna come full circle.
Yeah, and so I don't know what it really was. I don't think we've ever really had that conversation of like, what am I gonna do? I think it was like more of a guidance thing, and I just say the manager role because as far as the songs and just ideas and stuff, I talk to him every day. I talk to him more. I talk to my girlfriend. So that's just what it is. But like, I think our bond is dope for people that have like never physically met. It's currently COVID, but I think our bond is dope. But yeah, is there anything you want to add to that, or I kind of hit it on the head, or?
No, I literally yeah, pretty much like I talk to you literally every day, and it was more or less that. Like, it was just like I sent him tracks, and I just kept sending him tracks, and he would always have a critique or like something that, like, maybe I didn't know. So then I would just take it and I would internalize that and start thinking, all right, so I can take direction. You know what I mean? Like, I need that help, especially in the creative process, because sometimes, like, if it's not a full mix yet and there's something I'm like missing, and I know I'm missing something, it's good to have somebody else that has like a musical ear that's like, I think this is what's off with it. Like, this isn't something funky about that,
Let's bring up Alone. He sent me that. He's like, man, something's missing from the hook, and I was like, you should try this. I don't sing, but this motherfucker's heard me sing, so so I sent him a voice recording. So when you hear Alone, and then you hear the alone in the background, that was an idea. I was like, try that, and he was like, yo, yes. So yeah, we work great together, I think.
That's right.
Yeah, and everything's not like all clean. Like, there's tracks where it's like this, and it's like, maybe we should get a third opinion, but that's just what we built, and I think that's dope too, to where it's like, let's get a third opinion and stuff like that. But me, man, you're always gonna be able to improve, and like I tell you all the time, I want you to grow beyond me. I'll help you get there. But yeah, so that answers that. So okay, so let's get into the album Headspace. You've dropped 4 singles: Alone, Down, Solar, and what's the one I'm missing? Sorry.
Memories.
Yeah.
No, you do.
And that's the one, bro. That's my shit. Okay, so Alone, Down, Memories, and Solar. Alone being the newest one. What went into making this album? And there's 10 songs, right?
10 songs.
10 songs? Okay. Yeah, so kind of... What's up?
Technically 9 in an intro.
Fair enough.
It's not good.
So we got half the project, and that's done really well. As far as your stats, I looked it over. We're at a little over 30,000 streams on those 4 songs, and the rebrand was in September, so you're doing really well. As far as that goes for a new artist. But to talk about Headspace, how did you come up with that name, and what went into making that album?
So like, I always imagined like when I was like writing songs before, and I wrote a lot of songs leading up to even like becoming an artist. It was always just like sounds or like things I heard in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of just built on that idea where it was like things I've like felt or like thought about. When I feel it in that moment, I like write it down. And that's what turned into a lot of lyrics that went into the creating of Headspace. So I kind of think of it as like a trip into like my musical head, basically. Everything was always locked in here, and now it's out here.
Yeah.
The process was, I started like kind of coming up with the idea. So I'd thrown some like test tracks out under Chef prior to that I recorded in like lounge studios in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And
shout out to Lounge Studios.
Shout out to Lounge Studios. I mean, I first recorded there before I started like jumping into production myself. And then I met like a producer there. He toured on like Warped Tour for a few years. He's a guitar player, and he helped me record when I dropped like Rap Man is like Chef Query. So he's the one that was the engineer on that.
Damn, that's dope.
And I was working with him on an idea, and I hired him to help me get this idea together, and it was the beat to Cool. So that was the first track that was like created within that process, and it was right before the pandemic hit. I got that beat at like the end of February, and I originally had like a little different like lyric to it, and then I changed it because something catchy just came, and I was like, all right, this is it. Like, and I thought it was gonna be one of those like kind of like club fun like songs for everyone.
Yeah.
And then all the clubs went down.
Yeah. Not in Illinois, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But no, that's dope, man. I'm excited.
So, go ahead.
No, you got it.
Speaking on the track Alone, that's more of a very personal record, right? Can you speak on like how it felt getting those emotions out on paper or on your phone and just speaking out the truth, and how it felt to finally release all that negative energy?
Oh man. So Alone is like, and this goes for a lot of tracks on like the album. There's like a few that kind of get like really personal or jump into kind of like what most people would find somewhat uncomfortable to talk about on like a regular like basis.
Right.
And I've kind of like throughout going to therapy, I used to be one of those people that like didn't feel like their perspective was like valid. And over time, like as I learned to say like no, like emotions are valid, like how I feel is valid, what I'm thinking is valid. Right. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that thinks these things or something like it. So when I start writing these things, sometimes it feels a little emotional. Sometimes it like takes me to a spot that might be like a little uncomfy, but it feels honest. It feels almost like pressure is like off my chest. Like if I like, as soon as I like get it out there and I get it down, and it's like, this is what this is. This is how I feel. There's nothing wrong with how I feel. And I'm sure me saying this and me sharing this gives other people a chance to connect with that and possibly share some of their own feelings. You know, I feel like the writing process for me is very good. Like it helps me with my mental health. And I feel like being able to kind of put that honesty into it will help a lot of other people cope and maybe want to talk about their mental health, and then we can start having these conversations that might actually like be beneficial for each other.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I think that's dope.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. In the album, the Headspace, which song or which track do you think most people enjoy off the album?
I think Cool, definitely.
Right.
I I love that one too, mostly because it's just like, after everything that's gone on like the past like year, I think people need something that they can just like vibe out and like relax to and enjoy, and I feel like Cool gives that spot to them. And just something to like like dance to is there's a lot to be said for that as well.
Something to get your groove on.
Yeah, like it's good to talk about like very kind of like personal things and stuff, but sometimes you need a break. Like it can't all just sit in one like sad spot.
It's good to be vulnerable with the lows, but it's also dope to experience the highs and share the highs. So yeah, I get that. I get that. Hey, Cool is my favorite track. I love playing that shit. I had to put that on the phone ASAP. That is my favorite track, bro. My daughter sings it, but you know that she sings down, so like I'm really excited for everyone else to hear that. I'm sure you're overjoyed as well. But I do want to ask you, so on this album there are different sounds, correct? So there's different. Okay, so with that, like, who kind of influenced it? Because with that range of music on there, who stuck out as influencers to you for this album, Headspace?
Oh man, like there's so many different sounds going on in this. I really love like pop music. I love rap music. I love rock music. Sometimes I'll throw in a little country, but that's not really related to the album. But I started realizing like other artists that kind of have like 808s, and throwing like acoustic or electric guitars. Even from years prior, like when I was listening to like tracks from like Lil Peep, and then more recently like Breakdance or Joji or just kind of like that setting, like even some 1975 song throw in like 808s. And so I thought that was cool, like kind of like the fusion of genres. And then you see an artist like Machine Gun Kelly where he goes from rapping to doing like pop punk so flawlessly, and it's like, you don't have to be one thing. So as I was creating, I didn't want to just sit in one box and just like leave it at that. I kind of realized I liked more. There was like, I always throw it back to like early Avenged Sevenfold, because there's like a little bit of like a metal vibe to like a track or two. To it. It's and kind of like a lot of like rappers. I really like. I was listening to a lot of Denzel Curry at one point when I was like making the. And I just hang on like one track. I was listening to a lot of like indie pop and like indie rock, and I feel like that came out between a few tracks. I listened to like Kendrick and J. Cole.
Man, you're everywhere. You did not limit yourself.
Went through like a Celine Dion phase while I was like making the album. Jumped on that train as well. He had an album in March that I feel like a lot of people didn't like respond to it well, but like I really liked it. I was a fan. I've always been a fan of his stuff though, because I feel like he just does whatever he wants to do.
So let me ask you this. So since you're new, like you mentioned people that are already kind of established in their sound and they're trying things new. So if you look at their careers, they mastered something first. Is that a path you want to take, or you just want to experiment until you find the sound you want to stick to, or do you just not want to stick to anything? You want to just create what comes to mind? That's a long question. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Genuinely, like, I feel like I'm just gonna create whatever I think sounds cool, regardless of like genre.
Yeah.
I just want to stay authentic, like to who I am.
I respect that.
Like, it jumps, but like, you know, I could have a track that straight up sounds like a rap track, or I could also have a track that straight up sounds like an indie rock song, or like I could fuse the two if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I could straight up just have like the most like pop sounding thing you've ever heard. I don't know, like I feel like it's all just like an experiment with sound, because I mean, once you master like one thing, you do it for a while, it burns out, and I feel like people, not only the listener but the creator, also gets burnt out on that. Like, it almost becomes like you put yourself in a box at that point.
Damn, that's deep.
And you're just in there, yeah.
And
yeah,
I don't know, like we're humans, we're complex, like
absolutely,
yeah. 100%.
We have a lot of tastes and thoughts and ideas.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Once the album comes out, what do you hope that people will take from it?
I hope people just find solace in it. To be able to like a lot of my like lower or higher points have been highlighted from listening to music. And it's always gave me hope. And I think there's a lot of hope in the lyrics that I've written. Ultimately, I hope people take hope out of it more than anything, and just that I can give them kind of a space to go through whatever they're going through, whether it be good or bad.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Damn, that was fire. I think that's a good goal to have for any body of music, so I think that's awesome. So I guess with that in mind, do you like COVID has definitely put a strain on this, and you know, like you said, you performed at the Coast to Coast. You really haven't performed since then due to COVID. So what else outside of like performances, like did COVID like make it harder for you to kind of lock in on creating music, or like what are some ways you did? What are some things you did to stay motivated? I guess I should say during this time.
Locking in wasn't hard. The hard part is because I've been working like this whole time on
essential
music,
as
I've been
fuck.
kind of like working on. What was that?
I said essential as fuck, but then you said working on music. So go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, and at the grocery store. I also like. I took the year kind of after COVID and everything happened, and the motivation to keep like going with music mostly comes from I can just imagine that day that like we're all chilling again, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm on stage, and like I feel like people are gonna want to go to shows more than anything after this.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
And I want to perform more than anything after all this. Like, so I feel like the energy is just going to be crazy. So just thinking of that alone is just like, yeah, like I can keep going for this. And by the time that it gets there, I want to have enough songs that like I can put on a great show for people.
Yeah.
So it kind of like just kept me going in that way, because it's like I can continue to create content and I can continue to kind of perform for people in a way that's like virtual for now. But then as soon as those like live shows come up, I'm going to be like prepared and ready to go with material that I think a lot of the crowd is going to be prepared and ready to go energetically.
No, that's dope.
I feel that.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that.
No, that makes sense, because you know that's what I do, shows. So it's like I and you know people ask, and you know I tease by like, oh, who do you guys want to see live? So I think the people are ready. So it's just we're waiting for the world to be ready.
We are ready.
Yeah. So no, I think that's dope. I guess that would make me motivated because you said like, so what's your favorite thing about music? Like, is it performing or is it like the creative process or is it just I'm giving you ideas, but I really would like you to answer, so I'm gonna stop at 2.
I think, you know, music is something that like has never really left my life, and it was like I just feels like it was always there. Um, so every little part of it is something to like enjoy in its like own way. Like I do love, so like I love the art of like creating in the studio. It's interesting. Mixing to me feels like kind of like art as well too, because there's a whole process to that I think the average listener doesn't think about, because to them they're just like, oh, this is a song and like it just sounds good, but like there's a whole lot of things that go into that. So in a way, that is one way I look at like putting in creating new like sounds and putting it all together as like a very vital but also one of my favorite parts, because it's like what you create in order to set up the live part of it. And the live part of it is great because it's imperfect. It's like you don't go to a show to hear somebody do something perfectly, though it's great when they do.
Yeah.
You go to the show to feel something. You want to feel whatever vibe, whatever it is they're putting off.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about live shows, is that there's no real pressure. It's a release. It's a release for me. It's a release for the crowd. It's a release for everyone.
Yeah.
It's never going to be completely perfect. No. But if we're all jamming and we're all having a good time, and kind of like what you do with the podcast, you set the vibe.
Yeah.
It's something that you won't forget. You'll always remember that concert that like blew you away. And even if somebody like, even if it wasn't perfect, you're still like, damn, I felt something while I was there.
Yeah. Man, I can't wait to see you fucking perform. I feel like you're gonna leave motherfuckers in their feelings. I can't wait. You know,
no. Everybody with their lighters in the sky.
Yeah, no, cause man, like being a promoter, you know, you see a lot of people who doesn't like, they don't think like that. They want to go up there, they want to do their thing. Yeah, I killed that shit, you know, but they don't leave with anything, and they don't leave with people affected by it. And no, I think so. I can't wait, because you got me kind of hyped. Like shit, I might catch a flight.
Yeah, for real.
Because that's dope. I just see a lot of people, and they're so focused on themselves, like killing it. They don't even think of the impression they're gonna leave. You know, they're not. A lot of people don't use the opportunity to connect with people. They just use it to do their own thing. When really, it's everything you said. You know.
It's about the crowd.
Yeah.
It's close to the artist.
Yeah, you need them to catch a vibe off of you for you to be successful, and people don't think like that. So I think it's dope that it sounds like you're ready. Like if we opened up tomorrow and we got you something for next week, I feel like you'd be ready. So that's dope.
I would be ready. I practice a lot.
I love the confidence.
Yeah. So
it's I mean, music is like giving. I mean, if you're up there and you're being selfish with it, and you're just thinking about yourself and like, oh, I'm killing it, I'm doing this, you're kind of just failing yourself at that point. Like,
yeah.
The point is to give what you came to do, to give your energy, to give your time, to give your effort, your words, your melodies, your instrumentals, like all of it goes into giving. It's give and take, give and take. And when you give, they will give. And it's a constant energy return. And I think people, when you start to do that, you close yourself off. There's no give, so therefore there's no take, and there's no give back.
Damn!
Therefore there's no
That's
take.
deep!
You speaking like a true artist. Right?
Yeah! No, 100%, bro. Man, you won't even believe, like, the people you won't even believe I've tried to instill that in people, because, you know, I meet a lot of people, they never perform, but they can't wait, and then when they get up there, it's like, what was the can't wait part, because you didn't you didn't do much. Like anybody, I can get on any fucking stage and rap a Mac Miller song, you know, but are they gonna feel the same way when I do it compared to Mac? Probably not. So it's like, you know, that's how they feel about your song, especially if they don't know you. So no, I think that's dope, man. I think that's dope that you already have that view on it. Because showmanship is a whole different kind of talent, bro. And not everybody can fucking do that shit. You know, it's more than throwing water bottles at people. It's more than fucking crowd surfing and stuff like that. Like, that's a whole different vibe. Like, yeah. So, sorry. That's where I'm at. That's my shit. So, I love that shit.
I'm so right on with that, though. Like, so right on.
Yeah. Because so... This is not about me, but here I go making it about me. When I made music, and performing was my favorite part, but I feel like I never truly got the full grasp of it in time to where I was entertaining on a stage. But it was my favorite part, and I felt like towards the end of my little career that that's when I was like, oh shit, like I love this shit, like, you know, and that was at the point where I finally got the crowd control down and shit like that. Because at that point, like, I had never been to a concert. Like, my dad threw concerts when I was little, and I didn't go, tweaking. But it's like, my boys taking me to concerts, and I took what I enjoyed from those, and I was like, let me put this in my shit. And when that started to jump off, I was like, I love this shit. I can do this. I can, you know. But, yeah, showmanship's a whole different thing. That's why I implore every artist to watch how people perform. Like, if there's an artist like you, like, see how their concert went. Like, see what they did during it. Like, if you rap fast as fuck like Twista or something like, or Tech Nine loves fucking touring. So you rap fast like Tech Nine, go to a Tech Nine concert. See what he does that gives people that feeling. You know, that keep them coming back. That, man, that's my shit though. So I'm trying not to get too much into that.
No, that's so real.
With this music, where do you see yourself going with it in the next 5 to 10 years? Or what's the level that you hope to go to?
Like, man, that's quite the question. I'm definitely gonna be on stage doing something. What stage that is, I don't know. I would like to see myself get to a point where I'm playing a lot of like bigger venues, but
right.
It's almost like, you know, like you want people to listen to your music at the same time. Like, I'm not really a person that's like, man, I need to be like famous now. Like, I need to be famous. I need everybody to know who I am. But I want people to know my music. So I kind of try to throw expectation in a very like Dallas way out the window when it comes to like creating art. Because it's like when you expect something and then it doesn't come, you're gonna be super upset. But if you never expected it, it's just kind of like you can keep going. It never stops. Like the grind never really stops. And when it does come, it's just that much sweeter because you never expected it. Like, I have a strong feeling that if I just keep going, eventually I'll get wherever I'm expected to end up by, you know, like, I try to make it mostly about just the music itself and hope that speaks enough to get me where I need to go or where I will go.
That's good.
I feel that.
So,
but definitely to the
stage. Yeah. Gotta get to a stage though. So, all right. So your project is 10 songs, 4 out now: Memories, Down, Alone, and Solar. What? I guess. When you did the rebrand from Conrad Pax, or from Chef Boyardee to Conrad Pax, what made you kind of save these songs for this, or was it for this, or were they just made? Or sorry, I'm trying to I just want to. This is a random question. Sorry.
So like, are you asking like, why did I release these songs underneath Conrad and not Chef?
Yeah. Well, now that I ask it, I feel like you've already answered that earlier, so I pull that back in. So I guess okay. So since the rebrand, so you felt like you were having fun and people weren't ready for you to get serious with your music with Chef Boyardee, but you switched to Conrad Pax and you feel like they're ready for these messages and stuff. So what's tips for artists that kind of they treat it not as a joke. I don't want people to think but it's more of a hobby. And then when they get traction, they want to take it serious. What would you tell? What would you tell yourself at the beginning? What would you change about the beginning of your journey if you knew what you knew? If you knew you were going to be able to take it this serious and be able to succeed, kind of because you are succeeding.
Be patient.
Yeah.
Like, especially when I was first making music, I just kept jumping the gun. Like, everything had to happen so fast. We live in a world where everything happens so fast, anyways. Dude.
Yeah.
But like, I was throwing out music just to throw out music without a second ear, without like even a polish on it, really. And I was just writing things to write things. Like I almost drove myself to that point, and it's like, chill, be patient,
Yeah.
like marinate on your craft, work on the craft, like, sit on the idea, sit on it, listen. Don't. It doesn't have to happen in a day. You're on your own time. Like you're really not. There's no rush.
Yeah.
And I wish I had told myself that like 3 years ago.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great answer. I think with music, we are so compelled to, man, people got to hear this. I got to drop this ASAP to where people don't really have anything in the vault. So I also do consulting on the side, and I've helped this artist AB. Shout out my boy because he's worked his ass off, yeah. So he's at a point in his career where he has stuff in the vault, and he was like, I always felt like I just had to drop something, or when I would perform, it sucked not having things, not having a different just different songs to go to. Like, I'm not really feeling this song, I'll use this one. He didn't have a choice. He had to perform it. So I think people are just so quick with that stuff. So I agree with your answer, like, as far as marinating and sitting on the idea. Because you never know. There's no, man, especially with music, there are no shortcuts, specifically that I sit on clubhouse rooms and I gain knowledge, and someone I look up to is Dame Ritter. He did the funk volume thing with Hobson, and it's just, man, there's no shortcuts, and for everyone looking for a shortcut, you're not gonna find it. You're not.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, there are so many scams out there. There's so many scams. There's so many people getting over on you just being hopeful, which then turns you into something that you're not because you got scammed. So it's not easy, it's not pretty, but there are no shortcuts, and you should never take one. You should never look for one either, especially with music. You should never look for a shortcut. As far as because if a motherfucker says they work with so and so, but so and so, you can't even get an answer from so and so about this person, chances are it's not real. There's so many scams out there. I've heard them all. And the reason people keep coming back to you about those scams is because you've listened to the first one. So it takes, and I've not managed them, but I've worked with artists who have been scammed. Like, and it's like, as soon as you stop seeking advice, or you got scammed. And I'm sorry, but so I work with you. I would never let that shit happen to you. Like, but it's so crazy. It's so crazy because people do look for shortcuts, and they look for them every day. And it's like, man, you can just put the work in. And as far as your grind, I'll speak on that. As far as your grind, they already know we talk every day. And as far as your creative process, my man is a runner, hardcore. We spoke on that. But outside of that, he's working on music. He's trying to look for ways. He's asking questions, and he's interested in the business. And Dame is like, he said he'll never manage another recording artist because he'll never manage a recording artist that doesn't know the business. Because what happened with him and Hobson didn't know the business. And so, I don't know if you guys have watched these Funk Volume episodes, but they're available on their YouTube.
I heard about it, yeah.
Hobson didn't know the business, and he blew that entire thing up, and they were making waves because he thought Dame was being overpaid. And Dame was not being overpaid. Like, Hobson was making the most out of all of that. So it was just, he didn't know the business. And Dame was like, I'll never work with anyone that doesn't know the business and doesn't want to learn the business. So I think that's huge of you, especially as an independent artist, to want to know the business, but also be able to still keep your creative touch on things as well, because that'll take you a long way. So I think that's a great tip too that you said about just being patient, because I have a problem with patience, man. I'm plotting every day. You see my whiteboard, like that shit on the bottom, you can't tell what it is, but those are all ideas for you that just come up in my mind. Those are all ideas for you. All the people are gonna reach out to, shit like that. It's real. It's real. But I'm excited.
Yeah, I've seen him do it. He sits there and pulls up his stuff and writes down.
We'll be recording for a podcast. I'll be like, hold on.
Dude, that's great, man. I appreciate that more than you know. Like, and it is. I feel like you have to know the business if you're going to get yourself into the business. You don't want to be a pawn for the business. You want to be a part of the business.
Yeah. Especially with everything going on, as far as people exposing labels and stuff like that, you would think people would want to know and learn that, but they really don't. They don't care. They fall for the YouTube rappers with chains and money to their ear, and they think that's the dream. It is not. But sorry, Marcellus, what'd you say?
No, I said he used the word pawn. That's how you know he's about his business.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I've been a pawn almost, because I didn't know the business when I was I got offered a contract from this small recording label when I was chef from Jersey, and I was reading this contract and I really couldn't make any sense of it. So I had my uncle read it, who's a lawyer, and he told me that basically they were just diluting messages. They'd say one thing here and then basically redact it over here. Where in the end I was just gonna end up creating shit and they were gonna get pretty much all of it, and I was gonna get maybe a little 3% cut of nothing. And then I was looking at their artist page. I was looking at their artists and trying to look at their numbers, what they're doing on Spotify, what is their YouTube views. And really all they had was a bunch of blown up Instagram accounts with bots and no Spotify plays, no SoundCloud plays, there's no YouTube views.
Damn.
And people, and I mean, they don't own anything. So one, where is this label making any money? And two, even if the artist was to blow up, let's say something goes crazy, where are they gonna get out of that? Nothing.
Yeah.
And they did have one artist that had a song blow up on TikTok, and it was sad because I'm watching them post about it on Instagram, and I know she's not getting any of that money. Damn. And that was a year after they offered me that contract, and I was even if I'd had a song blow up on TikTok or whatever, there would have been no points. I'd have gotten literally nothing out of that.
Damn.
Well, they try to get you, huh?
Yeah. They're out there. People, yeah, that's fucking crazy. I'm glad you shared that. That's fucking crazy, because that is...
That's Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Culture.
Yeah, that's nuts.
You sign everyone, all it takes is one to pop, and then you can disregard the 100 others. And
that's nuts. I've seen artists in bad contracts. So one of my business partners, John Becker, what? So he's really an investor, but I bounce ideas off of him because he invests in my business, which is a concert promoter. So with that, he also attends a lot of concerts, and I've been to concerts with him. So this artist High Res, we've been fans of him since we were like in high school. We bought tickets to go to this like camp festival thing that they canceled and they never refunded us for. And he went to see High Res, and there was an album that High Res dropped, and he didn't really like promote it or anything. He's like, "Oh, I found this," and I was like, he was like, "There's no promotion or anything. I wonder why it's here." And I kind of explained, I was like, he probably just got in a shitty like label thing and dropped it to get out of it. And he got the meet and greet and met with High Res and brought it up, and he was like, pretty much what you said is what happened. He had a shitty contract and just had to drop something to get out of it, and that's what it was. So High Res has a whole project of shit that he didn't really market because he got a bad label deal. And it might not, the advance might have been fire. Advance could have been fire, but I don't know the details. But it just goes to show, like, they're even getting over on people that have a great following, not just the new guys. Or they're trying to at least. They're trying to at least, which is nuts. But yeah, no, thank you for coming on, and kicking it with us.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
Yeah, because it was good. Yeah, and we look forward to it. So we got Headspace dropping February 2nd. It's gonna be available everywhere, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of shout out your socials and stuff. Let people know where they can follow you and check you out at.
At Conrad Pax official on Instagram. At Conrad Pax NYC on Twitter, Conrad Pax on Facebook, and then my TikTok name. If you look up Conrad Pax, I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that shows up.
Hey, that's that SEO doing this. That's awesome. All right, Headspace February 2nd. Make sure you guys go check that out. I'll put all the pre-order, pre-saves, all that stuff in the bio. Marcellus, you got anything for us today?
Hey, real quick before you go.
Okay, what's up?
What is the best place to eat in New York that you've been to?
Man, there's a lot of good places to eat in New York.
Give me two real quick.
All right. If you come to New York, find a diner that looks like it's in the middle of fucking nowhere, on like a side street that looks kind of sketchy that you kind of don't know if you should walk down it. That diner will always have the best food. They all have different names. Some of them have like crazy lights and things from like the 80s or the 50s or like whatever. Go. Because like that menu can have like breakfast, lunch, and dinner all day. It's gonna have like so many different like types of things, and you can get like cheap glasses of wine and shit, and like it all tastes fire. Like it's consistent. It's consistently good.
I feel that.
Another place I like to eat is what's it called? All the time. There's a Spanish food place up here. It's like, I'm probably gonna totally like butcher this name. It's like El Rincon or something.
That sounds nice. Oh, look at it. That sounds nice.
But they have this like loaded plate of like nachos and these shrimp tacos that are just so good. Like, it's my favorite shit. My girlfriend and I would love it. Like,
that's awesome.
All
right, you gonna have to take us. You gonna have to take us when we come out there this summer.
Hey.
All right.
There's also pizza, like really good pizza places that we will go to.
Yeah, we always hear about New York pizza too. That in Chicago, they're always trying to battle. Why can't everybody have good pizza? But Marcellus, that's it for you today.
Yeah, that's all I need to know. That's all I need to know.
I'm James.
I'm Marcellus.
And this was a Kickback.